The town of Haven's Edge was small, peaceful, and surrounded by green hills that seemed to stretch forever. The people who lived there were used to simple life. They grew their food, fixed their own machines, and shared stories in the evening as the sun sank behind the hills. Nothing unusual ever happened here. The town was a place where everyone knew each other's names, where children played safely in the streets, and where life moved slowly, like the river that ran along the edge of town. One morning, however, the calm was broken. A strange sound filled the sky, a low humming vibration that made the ground tremble slightly underfoot. At first, people thought it was a plane or maybe a storm approaching, but the sky was clear. Then, a shadow appeared above the hills. It was enormous, bigger than anything anyone had ever seen. The shape shimmered like liquid metal, twisting in the sunlight as if it had no solid edges at all. Panic spread quickly. Farmers dropped their tools, shopkeepers left their counters, and children ran to find their parents. In the center of town, Mayor Thompson climbed onto the steps of the town hall and called for calm, but even his voice seemed small against the massive humming presence overhead. "Everyone, stay calm. Stay inside your homes," he shouted. "We will figure this out together." But calm was hard to find. From the bottom of the ship, small drones began descending. They were round, dark, and moved almost silently, scanning everything in the streets below. They hovered near houses, near barns, and even over the fields. A strange red light glowed from their surfaces, and it seemed to read every detail of the town. People whispered to each other. "They are scanning us," one farmer said, shaking. "Scanning us, and what does that mean?" No one knew. Fear gripped the town, but along with fear, a few people felt a spark of defiance. Among them was Captain Elena Ward, a former engineer who had worked on space projects in the city before retiring to Haven's Edge. She had seen many strange machines in her career, but nothing like this. Standing on her porch, she studied the drones carefully. "They are measuring everything," she said quietly. "Every building, every street, maybe even us. But they do not know one thing. We are human, and humans fight when cornered." Her words did not go unnoticed. A group of neighbors gathered near her house, anxious but listening. Among them were Mr. Allen, the school teacher, and Maria, the young mechanic who could fix anything with metal and wire. Even children stopped crying to hear her speak. There was a strange comfort in knowing someone had a plan, or at least a spark of hope. Then, the ship above opened a large hatch, and a figure emerged. It was tall, shimmering, and not like any creature seen on Earth. Its form constantly changed like water in a stream, and its eyes glowed a deep blue. It did not speak, but its presence made the air feel heavy. The townspeople instinctively stepped back. The alien, Xylox, as Elena would later call it, was not friendly. Its drones moved faster, scanning houses, streets, and people. Elena felt her heart pound, but she also felt a strange strength rising inside her. If the aliens wanted to destroy their town, they would have to go through the people of Haven's Edge first. She turned to her neighbors and spoke firmly. "We cannot run. We cannot hide forever. This town is our home. If they want to erase us, we will show them that humans do not give up." Some faces showed fear, others determination. Slowly, the townspeople began moving, not in panic, but with purpose. Farmers ran to barns, opening hidden storage sheds and gathering tools. Mechanics grabbed wrenches, ropes, and old machines. Even children helped by carrying small items or passing messages. Everyone understood, without being told, that their lives depended on their courage and unity. Meanwhile, the drones scanned the town in a systematic way. One hovered over the school, another over the water tower, another near the town square. It seemed they were preparing for something, but preparing for what? No one knew. Elena looked at the hill where the forest began, considering the terrain. Every hill, every stream, every hidden path could be a weapon if used wisely. By the afternoon, the aliens had begun to move closer to the main street. They had not attacked yet, but the message was clear. Haven's Edge was being marked. The town would either survive or be erased. Fear hung heavy in the air, but alongside it a glimmer of human spirit shone brighter. Elena clenched her fists. She could see it in the eyes of the people around her. They were terrified, yes, but they were also ready to fight for their home. The aliens had come to erase a town, but they did not yet know that Haven's Edge was full of humans who refused to surrender. The sun set behind the hills, casting long shadows across the streets. The quiet river reflected the shimmering alien ship as if it were a mirror of the coming battle. Haven's Edge, small and peaceful, was about to become the front line of human courage, and in the hearts of its people, the fire of defiance was already burning. Tomorrow the town would face its first test. But for tonight, the people of Haven's Edge gathered together in homes, barns, and streets, preparing in silence. They were afraid, but they were human, and that was a power the aliens had not counted on. The morning sun rose over Haven's Edge, but the town no longer felt peaceful. The alien ship hovered silently above, its shadow stretching over fields and streets. The drones, now more active, zipped across the town, scanning every building, every tree, every person. The residents knew the aliens were preparing to strike, and fear mixed with determination in their hearts. Captain Elena Ward moved quickly through the streets, gathering a group of volunteers. They were not soldiers, only ordinary townspeople, but they were determined to defend their home. Farmers carried pitchforks and shovels, mechanics brought wrenches and scrap metal, and even teenagers offered whatever they could. Elena's eyes were sharp, focused, and unwavering. She had a plan. Use the town itself as a weapon. "Listen carefully," she said, her voice strong despite the tremor of fear in the air. "The aliens are powerful. Their drones can destroy almost anything we have, but they are not perfect. They are predictable, and we know this land better than they ever could. If we work together, we can slow them down and protect our town." Her words gave hope. The group spread out, turning barns, fences, and farm tools into defensive positions. Farmers piled hay bales into walls, mechanics rigged tractors with makeshift shields, and children hid supplies in secret locations. The town was becoming a fortress of human creativity. By midday, the aliens made their move. Drones swooped down, firing thin beams of energy that melted fences and doors. Some drones hovered over the town square, scanning buildings for hidden defenders. Panic surged among a few residents, but the majority followed Elena's orders calmly. The first true test came when a drone approached the local bakery. Mr. Allen, the schoolteacher, had taken position behind a stack of crates. He held a long metal rod and waited. As the drone hovered closer, he struck it with the rod, sending it spinning into a stack of barrels. The crash drew attention from other townspeople, and soon a chain reaction began. Humans using clever traps, quick thinking, and simple tools started outsmarting the advanced alien drones. Elena led a team to the outskirts of town where the old windmill stood. She had a plan to lure drones into a narrow path lined with oil barrels and ropes. The moment a drone passed through, the townspeople would ignite the barrels, creating smoke and confusion. It was risky, but it worked perfectly. The first drone, caught in the trap, sputtered and fell, its systems temporarily disabled. Maria, the young mechanic, worked furiously on a more ambitious plan. She and a small team gathered scrap metal and old electronics to build a device that could jam drone sensors. It was not perfect, but when activated, several drones flew in erratic patterns, colliding with each other or retreating from the confusing signals. Even the children played a role. They carried messages across the town, warning of drone movements, carrying small supplies and cheering adults on. Their bravery inspired everyone. One little girl, Sophie, climbed a tree near the main street and waved a mirror to reflect sunlight into a drone's camera. The alien vehicle paused, disoriented by the sudden glare, giving the townspeople a chance to react. Hours passed like a battle in a storm. Dust, smoke, and the hum of alien machinery filled the air. The townspeople were exhausted, but the drones were slowing down. The aliens, for the first time, seemed unsure. Their perfect technology was being challenged by something they had not counted on: human unpredictability and courage. Elena looked over the town from a hill near the river. Fences were broken, windows shattered, and fields were trampled, but the people were alive and the drones were scattered. She felt a surge of pride. "This is only the beginning," she said. "But we've shown them that we will not go quietly. We can fight back. We can protect our home." The aliens above observed the chaos with glowing eyes. Their calculations, based on logic and predictability, were failing. How could such simple, seemingly unprepared humans resist so effectively? The drones had underestimated the town's resourcefulness. The aliens did not yet know that Haven's Edge had something no machine could replicate: courage, unity, and a refusal to surrender. As night fell, the town lit fires along the streets, not just for warmth but as signals and warnings. Families gathered, tended to the wounded, and planned the next day's defense. Elena moved quietly among them, offering words of reassurance, checking traps and making adjustments. Despite exhaustion, a quiet determination spread across Haven's Edge. The first strike had come and been repelled. Humans had shown their ability to turn simple tools, clever thinking, and bravery into weapons against impossible odds. Above, the alien ship lingered silently, its glowing figure casting long shadows over the town. The battle was far from over. But one fact had become clear. Haven's Edge would not fall easily. Humanity would fight. Humanity would rise. And somewhere deep inside the alien commander, Xylox, a question formed. Could these fragile, unpredictable creatures truly be more than they seemed? Tomorrow the second strike would come. But tonight Haven's Edge rested united and stronger than ever before. The morning after the first attack, Haven's Edge was quiet, but not peaceful. Smoke from the destroyed drones still lingered in the air, and broken fences and trampled fields told the story of the previous day's battle. The townspeople were tired, their hands scraped and their clothes torn, but their hearts were full of determination. They had survived the first strike, and now they knew something important. They could fight back. Captain Elena Ward called a meeting in the town square. Farmers, teachers, mechanics, and even teenagers gathered around, listening carefully. Their faces were serious, but a spark of hope shone in their eyes. "We survived yesterday because we worked together," Elena said. "But the aliens will return stronger than before. We must unite like never before. Every person, every skill, every idea counts. This is not just a battle. This is our home, and we will defend it with everything we have." The townspeople nodded. Some had never held a weapon in their lives, but now they understood that courage could be more powerful than fear. Even the children who had helped carry messages and supplies yesterday were given small tasks. Their energy and quick thinking could make a difference. Elena divided the town into groups. Farmers would use the fields to set traps, mechanics would build devices to jam drones. Teachers would organize messages and plans, and anyone who could run fast or climb trees would act as scouts. The plan was simple, but it relied on everyone working together. By midday, the aliens struck again. This time, they sent larger, more dangerous drones, some carrying heavy weapons. They moved with precision, destroying fences and buildings as they scanned for humans. But Haven's Edge was ready. The farmers led the drones into narrow paths lined with hidden tripwires and pits. A few clever children used mirrors to reflect sunlight into the drone's sensors, blinding them momentarily. Mechanics activated homemade devices, sending pulses of energy that caused the drones to spin or collide. Each drone that fell was a victory, and every small success inspired the townspeople to fight harder. Meanwhile, Elena led a small team to the forest near the edge of town. They knew the aliens might try to attack from unexpected directions, and the forest could hide both dangers and opportunities. They set traps using ropes, nets, and fallen branches, creating a maze of obstacles. When a drone approached, it would be caught, slowed, or confused. Even the town animals played a role. Dogs and goats moved through the streets carrying messages or startling drones with loud barks and sudden movements. The townspeople laughed briefly at the chaos, but the laughter carried a message. They were not defeated, not yet, and maybe never. By late afternoon, the alien commander Xylox appeared in the sky again, observing the chaos. It had expected to intimidate the humans with fear, but instead it found a united town that fought with courage and cleverness. The drones were no longer moving in perfect formation. They stumbled, spun, and hesitated. Xylox realized that its calculations, based on logic and precision, could not predict the unpredictable nature of human courage. At the same time, Elena and Maria worked together to reverse engineer one of the drones that had fallen. They discovered a weak point in the alien technology. The drones relied on signals from the command ship, and if these signals were jammed or redirected, the drones became confused. Maria smiled as she activated a small device, sending pulses into the sky. Several drones faltered, spinning out of control and crashing into the river or fields. The townspeople cheered, but there was no time to celebrate. Xylox responded by sending even more drones, this time larger and faster. The battle intensified, but something remarkable had happened. Everyone moved like a single organism. People ran messages, activated traps, helped the wounded, and guided drones into the obstacles. The fear of yesterday had turned into strength today. By evening, the alien drones began to retreat temporarily. Xylox hovered above, glowing with frustration, realizing that brute force alone could not defeat the town. The humans had something no alien machine could match: unity, creativity, and an unbreakable will to protect their home. Elena walked through the streets, checking on every group. She saw tired hands, dirty faces, and bruised bodies, but she also saw determination. Each person had contributed something, and that contribution had saved lives. Children hugged parents, farmers helped repair fences, and mechanics prepared devices for the next wave. As the sun set, casting long shadows over the town, a quiet calm returned. It was not peace, but it was a moment to breathe, to plan, and to remember why they were fighting. Haven's Edge was no longer just a town. It was a symbol of human spirit and courage. The aliens had come to erase it, but the people had risen, together, showing that humanity could never be easily defeated. Elena looked up at the shimmering alien ship, now still above the hills. She knew the battles ahead would be even harder, but she also knew something stronger than fear or machines. Humans could work together, think creatively, and face impossible odds with courage. Tonight, Haven's Edge slept cautiously, but with a fire in its heart. Tomorrow they would face the aliens again. But for the first time, the people believed that they could win. United, brave, and clever, humanity had begun to rise, and deep inside the alien commander, Xylox, a troubling thought formed. Maybe these humans were more dangerous than they seemed. The morning sky over Haven's Edge was painted with streaks of orange and pink, but the beauty of the sunrise could not hide the tension in the town. Captain Elena Ward stood on a hill overlooking the town, her eyes scanning the horizon. The alien ship still hovered above, silent and ominous, while drones patrolled in careful patterns, searching for any signs of weakness. Elena knew that the aliens would not rest. Xylox had grown cautious but also more dangerous. Its next attack would be bigger, more precise, and possibly destructive enough to destroy the town center. The townspeople had survived the first 3 waves, but this time the aliens intended to finish their mission. "Everyone, listen carefully," Elena said, gathering her team. "This next strike could be our hardest. They will try to destroy the town completely. We cannot stop them with traps alone. We need a plan that hits them back, and it must be bold." She pointed toward the abandoned mine on the outskirts of town, a network of tunnels and shafts left unused for decades. "We will use the mine. We can redirect their energy attacks, confuse their drones, and strike at their weak point. It will be dangerous. Some of us may be injured, but this is our chance to turn the battle around." The volunteers nodded, their faces serious but determined. Farmers, mechanics, and even teenagers joined in, carrying ropes, planks, and tools. Maria, the young mechanic, had built a device to channel the alien energy beams, while Elena carefully studied the mine maps to create a safe path. By afternoon, the aliens made their move. Xylox released a massive energy beam, brighter than the sun, aimed at the heart of the town. People scattered, running for cover, but Elena's team was ready. They guided the beam toward the mine entrance using large reflective panels and specially positioned metal plates. Sparks flew and the ground shook, but the beam entered the tunnels. Inside the mine, the energy raced through the metal channels that Elena and her team had prepared. The tunnels glowed, heating the walls, but the energy was controlled. At the far end, the team had placed a series of metal rods and jumbled electronics to create a containment field. As the beam struck, it ricocheted inside the field, striking drones that hovered above the town and temporarily disabling them. Above, Xylox glowed with anger. The alien commander did not expect such cleverness. Its drones began to malfunction, spinning out of control, some falling into the fields and river below. The townspeople watch, Ed with awe and relief as one by one, the drones were neutralized. But the battle was not over. A few drones broke free and moved toward the mine entrance, threatening the humans inside. Elena and her team acted quickly. Farmers used ropes to trip the drones. Mechanics activated jamming devices, and children guided people through hidden exits. Each person knew their role, and every movement counted. The mine became a maze of light, shadow, and controlled chaos. But the humans moved, like a single unstoppable force. Finally, the energy beam reached its target, the alien command ship. The metal channels and containment field redirected part of the energy toward its hull. Sparks and glowing cracks appeared on the ship's surface. Xylox howled in frustration as the beam bounced back, disabling critical systems. For the first time, the aliens were vulnerable. Elena breathed heavily, her face streaked with sweat and dust, but she felt a surge of pride. The town had faced the impossible and turned it into an advantage. Every trap, every device, every brave act had worked together to protect their home. Humanity had fought not just with strength, but with intelligence, courage, and unity. By evening, the remaining drones retreated, falling back toward the ship. Xylox hovered in the sky, its form shimmering with irritation and caution. It had underestimated the humans, their ability to adapt, and their refusal to surrender. Haven's Edge had survived, and now it was no longer just a town. It was a symbol of human resilience. The townspeople gathered in the square, tired but triumphant. Families embraced, children laughed in relief, and Elena looked around at the faces of those she had come to respect and admire. They had faced a power far greater than themselves and had not only survived but fought back. "We did it," Elena said quietly. "They may come again, but they will never erase this town. They will never erase us." Maria nodded, holding her makeshift devices. "We showed them that humans are unpredictable. We are clever, and we will not give up." As night fell, the alien ship finally retreated into the dark sky. Xylox's glowing form disappeared beyond the clouds, leaving only a faint hum behind. Haven's Edge was safe, for now, but the town knew the universe was vast and full of dangers. Still, for the first time, the people believed that they could face anything. Tonight, the town celebrated cautiously. Fires were lit in the streets, not just for warmth, but as symbols of victory. People repaired damaged homes, tended to the wounded, and shared stories of bravery. Every small act of courage, every clever idea, and every helping hand had mattered. Haven's Edge had survived the turning point. Humanity had faced an overwhelming force, and through unity, ingenuity, and determination, they had struck back. The battle was far from over, but now the people of this small town had hope, strength, and a plan. They had risen in defiance, and nothing, not even aliens, could erase that spirit. And deep in the shadows of space, Xylox pondered the strange and dangerous nature of humans. They were fragile, yes, but clever, brave, and unyielding. Haven's Edge had proven one thing. The fight was not over, and humanity would continue to rise. The night was quiet over Haven's Edge, but the town was far from peaceful. The people worked tirelessly, repairing fences, clearing debris, and checking traps. Sparks from torches and lanterns lit the streets, casting long shadows that danced on the walls of buildings. Every person, young or old, knew that the alien threat had not vanished completely. Xylox and its drones were still out there, observing, calculating, waiting. Captain Elena Ward walked through the town square, her eyes scanning every corner. She could see exhaustion on every face, but she also saw determination. Children carried supplies, farmers repaired barricades, and mechanics prepared more clever devices to counter the drones. The town had survived, but they would not survive again by luck alone. They needed a final plan, a way to strike back and end the alien threat once and for all. Elena gathered the leaders of the town. "The aliens think they can intimidate us with power," she said. "They believe that humans are weak and predictable, but they have never faced what we can do when we work together. Tonight we finish this. We fight not just to survive, but to show them that humanity will never bow." The plan was bold. Using knowledge gained from previous encounters, the townspeople set up a series of coordinated traps and devices around the town. Mechanics and engineers built jammers that could confuse the drones, while farmers prepared narrow paths to guide them into traps. Children and scouts acted as messengers, alerting teams of any movement from above. Every action, no matter how small, would be important. By dawn, the alien ship appeared again, casting a long shadow over Haven's Edge. Xylox descended slowly, flanked by the remaining drones, its glowing form more intimidating than ever, but this time, the humans were ready. Elena stood at the center of the town, her team around her. Their hearts pounded, but fear was replaced by courage. They knew what they had to do. The first wave of drones attacked, firing beams that melted fences and tore through gates. But as predicted, the townspeople lured them into the traps. Nets fell from trees, pits opened in the ground, and devices emitted pulses that sent the drones spinning. One by one, they crashed into the fields, rivers, and streets. The humans moved with precision, their every action coordinated like a single, unstoppable force. Xylox watched with growing anger. Its drones were falling too easily, their advanced technology no match for human cleverness. The alien commander sent a massive energy beam toward the town square, attempting to destroy the center of resistance. Elena and her team had prepared for this. Using mirrors, metal plates, and the old mine tunnels, they redirected the beam, striking the drones instead of their own people. Sparks flew, and the alien machines faltered, giving the townspeople the chance to press their advantage. Maria, the young mechanic, activated a device that jammed the remaining drone's sensors completely. They spun uncontrollably, colliding with one another and crashing into walls and fields. The aliens had never encountered anything like human creativity combined with unity. Then came the final moment. Elena, along with a small team, led a direct strike against Xylox's command ship. Using a combination of ropes, metal channels, and the energy redirection devices, they sent a focused pulse into the ship's hull. It glowed, sparks erupted, and the shimmering figure of Xylox began to falter. The alien commander let out a strange, echoing sound as systems failed and lights flickered. Humanity had turned the aliens' own energy against them. The remaining drones retreated, and Xylox, now weakened, ascended slowly into the sky before finally disappearing beyond the clouds. Haven's Edge was safe, and the people cheered, hugging each other, laughing and crying at the same time. They had faced a force far greater than themselves and had triumphed through courage, intelligence, and unity. Captain Elena stood in the town square, looking at the faces of her friends, neighbors, and children. Every person had played a role and every action mattered. "We did not just survive," she said, her voice strong and proud. "We fought together. We defended our home. We showed the universe that humans do not give up. We rise in defiance." News of the battle spread quickly to other towns and colonies. Stories of Haven's Edge inspired hope and courage across the land. People everywhere began to understand that humanity's greatest strength was not weapons or technology alone, but creativity, unity, and spirit. That night, the town celebrated cautiously. Fires burned bright in the streets, music and laughter. returned, and people shared stories of bravery and clever ideas that had turned the tide. Children ran freely, inspired by the courage of the adults around them. Farmers repaired fields with pride, mechanics adjusted their devices, and everyone took a moment to remember those who had risked everything. Haven's edge had been marked for erasure, but humanity had refused to be erased. The town had become a symbol, a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable power, courage, ingenuity, and unity could prevail. Elena looked to the horizon, where the first stars of night began to appear. Somewhere out there, threats would come again, but the people of Haven's Edge knew one thing clearly. They could face anything together, and they would rise again, no matter the challenge. In the end, the aliens had come to erase a town, but they had underestimated the human spirit. Humanity had not only survived, they had triumphed. Haven's Edge stood as proof. When humans unite, when they fight with courage and cleverness, nothing can erase them. And for the people of Haven's Edge, the battle was over, but the fire of hope and human resilience would never die.